so this is the energy storage market series. Today we're going to hear from Sol-Ark, but before we dive in, and we're waiting for a few more people to join, we're going to go over a few things about RENVU. RENVU was founded in 2013. It's based in Mountain View, California, close to San Francisco. We do have fulfillment centers on the West and East Coast, as well as Texas. Our entire sales team has an engineering background, which allows us to go into depth on projects, whether our customers are small DIY projects up to larger commercial projects and everything in between. At RENVU, we do not just sell the product. We can assist you with any technical expertise and support you during your installation and the commissioning, even post-commissioning as well. We do offer additional services, including the Megawatt Club membership, which includes free shipping for all of your orders, discounts on engineering services and permit packages. We have multiple online tools, our website, that can assist you in creating your own system design, adding a battery to your system, and even calculating inter-row spacing due to shading. We do offer financial options for larger orders on a project-by-project basis. And if you do have any questions about any of this stuff, you can email us at info@renvu.com and get in contact with our engineers and our sales team. While we do wait for more people to join in here, it looks like people are slowly funneling in. I did want to go over a few products that we are carrying right now that are all compatible with Sol-Ark inverters. First, in the upper left-hand corner, we're looking at the PowerField ground mounts. They are a ballasted ground mount. It's pretty straightforward. The mounting solution, it does have a bucket at the bottom of it, and you would put earth or gravel in it to make for a very easy installation. Moving over to the right, we do have the Primus wind power turbines. These can be paired with Sol-Ark inverters to supply power to your home and even charge your battery when the solar resources are not available. We will have a webinar with PowerField on May 19th. Oh, sorry, no, not PowerField. With Primus on April 6th, and a webinar with PowerField on May 19th, if you're looking for that in the future. Moving to the right one, we do have the NLX Step 2 48 amp car charger. This is the newest residential and commercial EV charger available at RENVU. So contact us if you are interested in that. That's a great pairing as well with a Sol-Ark inverter for anyone with an electric car. We do also carry the Fortress Power eFlex 5.4 and the eVolt 18.5 kWh batteries. These are compatible with the Sol-Ark inverter as well, as I said. And these allow for custom battery bank sizings to meet whatever energy storage needs you're looking for. Simplifies 48-volt batteries stack very well with the Sol-Ark 12K. 6 batteries give you a perfect 22.8 battery bank, which is pretty good for any residential system. And then finally, Blue Planet Energy batteries and the Blue Ion 2.0 is available as well. It's a very sleek battery bank with full scaling capabilities for residential storage solutions, as well as small commercial applications as well. We do have recordings of previous webinars with Simplify, Fortress Power, Blue Planet Energy on the RENVU YouTube channel, and have a few upcoming ones as well that I just did speak about. One with Primus wind power on April 6th, and PowerField ground mount PowerField webinar on May 19th. If you do have any questions about these products, please do feel free to ask. If you do want to ask in the chat, we will have a Q&A at the end of this, and this is all being recorded as well. You can also email our sales team at info@renvu.com for more information and pricing. All right, it looks like we are getting a little more people joining in here. We're going to wait maybe, one more minute, and then we will go ahead and get started here. All right. Let's see if anyone else is going to be coming in here. Got a few more coming in. All right, Andy, let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to introduce Andy with Sol-Ark, and we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off.
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction. Everyone, my name is Andy Goldstein. I'm with Sol-Ark. We're a hybrid inverter manufacturer based in Dallas, Texas. To get started, first of all of our equipment is tested and finished one by one here in our Dallas headquarters and facility and shipped from here to RENVU. We really appreciate RENVU inviting us to join today. And there is a chat window, so if you do have general questions, there's a whole lot to unpack with what our company does and what we're trying to do, as well as how our equipment works. So without going into a whole lot of detail, because we could spend 1 hour on just perhaps one aspect of the Sol-Ark, if you do have questions, please put them in the chat. I'll do my best to cover, I would say, the key features, benefits, and just the essence of who we are at Sol-Ark and what we're about. So without further ado, I'm going to hop right into it by sharing my screen. So at Sol-Ark, we're a veteran-owned company that was founded by defense engineers that wanted a product for themselves, and they couldn't really find anything out there in the market that checked all the boxes. So they decided in 2013 to design a system for themselves that would seamlessly work with the grid and without the grid to guarantee power production for their own families. And what we found over the last 8 years is that homeowners consistently want more and more power. They also want to be able to afford that power. So what we did was try to simplify not only the hardware, but also the software to make it not just a more robust and more stable product, but also less expensive to install by reducing the install time. So what we want to do is work with you to make sure that you can back up as much or as little as possible, as affordably as possible. And we have some silly images here of a contractor. So we find that a lot of contractors get frustrated because the homeowner was expecting maybe one item to be backed up, but because of perhaps sticker shock or some other reason, they didn't back up all of the critical loads, and then they have to do a lot of truck rolls to go back out to the home to perhaps reset the inverter or change what is being backed up. So we're wanting to make this easy. Another challenge is we're specialized in the niche of backup power and off-grid. So what does that mean? That means that customers are motivated primarily for protection. They want to know that they will have power accessible without having to worry about it. And when problems happen, you want to be able to call somebody and have immediate accessibility to somebody who really knows what they're talking about. So at Sol-Ark, we have a 7-day-a-week, excuse me, we have a 7-day-a-week support team. All of them are talented solar engineers, and we are available and accessible to not just the contractors and groups like RENVU, but also the homeowners. So if you're a homeowner on today's presentation, we encourage you to call in. Our number, you'll hear me say it over and over, 972-575-8875. Grab a crayon, grab a pen, pencil, whatever it takes to write that number down. I'll have it in the chat shortly. 972-575-8875. We really would love to hear from you, and we have a tremendous team of talented engineers that can help. Because if you're looking to back up your whole home, you're looking to, or you're an installer looking to limit truck rolls and just make things easy, or power really heavy stuff. The joke here at Sol-Ark is that, we're a bunch of Texas engineers and we like big stuff and we want everything's bigger in Texas. And so that's what we're here to do, is make it easy to power everything that is important to you. We have free monitoring and fleet management. So if you're an installer on today's presentation, that means that all of your customers will have visibility to what is going on exactly at all times with their systems, and you will have that same accessibility, and you will be able to remotely configure, modify with your customer's permission, as well as our engineers here at Sol-Ark will have the same accessibility. So it's as if we were right in the customer's home with them, because again, at the most critical and vulnerable moment of losing power, you want to have accessibility to experts that can be right there with you every step of the way. So a little bit about us at Sol-Ark. Again, we're a veteran-owned company founded by a group of defense engineers. So a little bit different, I think, than what you would normally find in the solar space. We originally designed the Sol-Ark 8K in 2017, and then based on customer demand, we increased the amount of power output and rolled out Sol-Ark 12K in 2019. Again, we're finding that customers want to power more and more stuff, and installers want less and less guesswork. So we're working very hard to listen to customers. If you find something about our product that needs to be improved in your opinion, please let us know. We have thick skin, and everything that we have done to date has been based on customer feedback. We try very hard to listen to our customers. We have multiple strategic partnerships with different battery companies and distributors like RENVU throughout the country, and we're constructing our new 75,000 square foot facility just north of the Dallas area that should be hopefully completed by the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So real quick, I just wanted to touch on what these companies here on the left are. These companies are residential solar financing groups. They finance solar installations for homeowners through different contractors. We have been approved by all of these financing groups. And why is that important? The reason is these companies have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on the line deploying that capital throughout the country, and they need to be sure that that capital is protected. So we have already been vetted by these groups through a very rigorous internal process for our equipment, as well as our company financials. And what we have is a standard 10-year warranty on our 12K and a 5-year warranty on our 8K. And those are backed by what we call HALT, which is highly accelerated life testing. That's a very simple way of saying we take our inverter, we put it in a big chamber, turn up the temperature well past 120 degrees Fahrenheit, turn up the humidity to 85%, and bake that inverter in that sauna-like environment and see how long it lasts. It will last well beyond 12 years, and the electronics are in a truly isolated enclosure that's NEMA 3R rated to actually have a lifespan of 20 years. So these groups have tremendous confidence in us, and we've been doing thousands of systems to date with these groups. We also have our origins and off-grid. So this is a little different than other companies that got started in what we call grid tie, meaning you have to be connected to the grid for the solar equipment to function. We got our start in off-grid first. And why is that important? Because we know what it takes to power things without having the grid as a crutch. And we were selected, we feel very honored to have been selected by the Navajo Nation. Navajo Nation last year received some funding through the CARES Act, and we have already installed hundreds and hundreds of Sol-Arks for the Navajo Nation in that special project. We're also integrated inside other companies' products. One company of mention is Beam Global. Beam is a public company on the NASDAQ that started incorporating the Sol-Ark inverter in their off-grid EV charging stations back in about April of 2020. And since then, you know, their stock has done very well after incorporating the Sol-Ark into their systems. So we're also placing a tremendous amount of importance here on Sol-Ark. And notice how I haven't even started talking about the product yet. We want to let the market know, we want to let all of you know that we place a tremendous amount of importance on being accessible to customers and doing everything we can to make things right. We know we're not perfect sometimes, but we do our best to make things right. And if you go to Energy Sage, we're very proud of all of the organic reviews that we have received to date, 5 stars. And What we want to do is just let you know that if you call our number 972-575-8875, it is our goal to always have somebody pick up the phone, or if it goes to the voicemail, because we are available 7 days a week. So sometimes if there's somebody on call, we will get back to you in a very timely way. If we do not hear from you, or excuse me, if you do not hear back from us, we want to know about it in the management team. It's extremely important. So I like to joke around and say that if we don't hear from you, it's actually on you, not on us. If you're an installer, we want you selling more deals to more prospects, because by making the system more affordable and being able to power more stuff, naturally that's going to be more attractive. We want you to be able to feel confident. So being able to install in less time and be able to get a credentialed solar engineer anywhere, anytime by phone, we think will really give customers that peace of mind that they need when they're basically, for some, it seems like they're jumping off a cliff, investing what would be a very expensive vehicle or a car or something, and hoping that the system is going to function as it's advertised to function. Okay, so let's just move on real quick to okay, this is on the right-hand side. That's just a tiny cross-section of our team. We took some kind of candid photos. We're real people. We really love to hear from you. 972-575-8875, support@sol-ark.com. I can give my word that won't go to just some dark abyss and you won't hear back from us 3 months later. We work very, very hard to gauge our growth with the amount of staff available to be responsive. So please reach out to us. We are available 7 days a week. So the Sol-Ark hybrid inverter, we'll start talking about the product. We do get lots of questions about rapid shutdown. So quickly on the top of the screen, we're compatible with Tigo and AP systems, AP Smart, and our inverter is compatible with any 48-volt battery. Again, any 48-volt battery. We're already partnered up with dozens of different battery companies that can do bidirectional closed-loop communications. So if you have a battery in mind that is not necessarily a battery that maybe we have heard of before, as long as it's 48 volts, there's so many new batteries coming out. I use Simplify here. That is a great product, and you can go with the Simplify, for example, but it has to be a 48 volt battery. So real quick, we have two Sol-Ark SKUs. There are the 8K inverter and the 12K inverter. I'm not going to spend too much time to unpack all the different specifics, because that could take up a lot of time, but what I wanted to emphasize was that the 8K inverter here, it has a 5-year standard warranty, and it's a single unit only solution. That means that it is not stackable. So if you want to have more power, I strongly suggest considering our flagship 12K inverter. The 12K inverter you can stack in parallel. And if those who are brand new to this, stacking means you put multiple inverters in scale. You scale the size of the system. So rather than having just one, you get, let's say, 8 times the power by having 8 of our inverters connected together. You would get a standard 10-year warranty on that equipment. Okay, so just remember, everything is included that is necessary inside this box, just 8K and 12K. And if you have further questions about this, contact RENVU or call us directly at 972-575-8875. Really briefly, I want to talk about, we do have an EMP hardened version of the Sol-Ark. For those who are unfamiliar with an EMP, that is an electromagnetic pulse. At Sol-Ark, we are a veteran-owned company. Again, we have our origins in off-grid and defense. And one of the requests that we got from, I guess I say an exotic customer, we do things like in missile silos and bunkers and things with the military, etc. We have made available to the public a version of the Sol-Ark that will survive an electromagnetic pulse. Those are pulses that are basically energy waves that can take out the grid. And so we're making that system available. I would like to make very clear though, that if you choose the EMP hardened system, you cannot, I say again, cannot use a lithium battery. We have not proven that it is effective with lithium. The reason for that is the BMS, that means battery management system of a lithium battery, would not survive an electromagnetic pulse. Therefore, we strongly recommend you go with an AGM or lead acid chemistry, because it, again, is chemical, it's not electronic, and it will survive EMP. At Sol-Ark, we do carry a PCC 230 battery, and we're happy to supply you with that, but you are not required to go with our battery. We're very transparent. That is a battery that we source third party from another vendor. It is not our technology, but we did want to make it easy if you didn't know where to go. So again, for EMP hardened inverters, do not use lithium. Please use an AGM battery solution. With an EMP hardened system, you will get 40 ferrite suppressors, which is basically here, it's just it looks like a little clip, and they go right next to the solar panels as well as your appliances. I'm not going to spend too much time on this today. This is all in our user manual. If you have questions on this, we're more than happy to answer. 972-575-8875. So the Sol-Ark has multiple modes for maximum versatility. It's like a Swiss Army knife. You can slice and dice every which way. You need to program the system based on your specific situation. And we do get often asked if the system will work without batteries. So the answer to that is yes, it will work without batteries, just like a regular grid tie inverter in grid tie mode. However, it will not function if the grid fails. So I do know that there's a product out with SMA, the Sunny Boy storage. It has about, I think, 1,000 or 2,000 watts available with a small plug without batteries. Our system is a little different. You can get just a really tiny battery bank, and then the system will continue to function. Those battery banks are very inexpensive, but you do need batteries for any kind of backup function. However, if you're just looking to save on bills, set up the Sol-Ark grid tie ready, start selling back, save on your electric bill, and then add batteries later if you're still thinking about which battery would be the best fit for you. Okay, we can do the most conventional of modes, such as zero export, which is also known as limited to home or self-consumption. Time of use is very popular, particularly on the West Coast, where off-peak and peak rates and peak shaving are necessary to pull power out of batteries when the grid is charging a lot of money. Again, we are battery agnostic. You can use any battery you would like. Off-grid, our system, I'll talk about this more in a little bit, can do 20 kilowatts of peak power, which is the most important for off-grid to start up really heavy motors. And we can use a smart load to actually control which items are being powered by the PVs to help protect your batteries. Again, rapid shutdown is built in, and we can both DC and AC couple, and I'll show an image about this more shortly. That means that if you already have solar, it's very easy to just retrofit or just install the Sol-Ark with, if you have in-phase microinverters or a solar edge. But if you start from scratch, you can also DC couple the panels and then AC couple, for example, like a generator or something. So we can do three-phase. I don't know how many customers out there today are interested in three-phase, but the same Sol-Ark, the same SKU, you don't need a different version. It's all in the programming, can do three-phase power. Arc fault and ground fault are all built in. And lastly, our system will transfer from the grid to off-grid mode in a grid outage in 4 milliseconds. That is a UPS grade transfer time. That is so fast that it's faster than it takes for any of your appliances and things to glitch. So in the middle of the screen, this is what our LCD screen looks like. We also have a web app and it's a web app and a desktop web version that actually mirrors exactly what you see here on the color touch screen. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about all of the functionality. I just wanted to emphasize the most important things on what's on the inside of the Sol-Ark. Again, we can do 120, 240, 208. It's outdoor rated, and you can stack. For some reason, my slide went a little wonky on me here. So what we're gonna do is just go straight into the middle here. There's a 250 amp battery breaker on the left. You hook up your batteries on the left side here where you have your plus and minus. In the middle, there are two independent integrated charge controllers. Each can do up to 6.5 kilowatts. Therefore, you have up to 13 kilowatts available for 4 strings with those charge controllers. There's a 63 amp grid breaker, a 50 amp gen breaker where you can actually plug a gen set. So on the right here, you can do, if you have a really tiny generator like those portable ones, or like maybe you have a Generac or a Briggs & Stratton, you know, a large standby generator, you can go right into the gen. And then there's a load that's covered up, but that says load on the right-hand side. There's another 63 amp breaker. That's the load out. You can AC couple up to 9.6 kilowatts. So again, on the right-hand side, I have an N-phase microinverter or a solar edge. It's one plug, easy AC coupling. So you can just, if you already have solar, just you can go, you know, with batteries with the Sol-Ark right there. So this is what it looks like when it's all hooked up. You can see nice and clean at the bottom. Those are your knockouts where you have the wires coming in. And then I just wanted to point out the 2 LED lights that are on. Those are right above our CAN bus RS485 ports for bidirectional communications with batteries. So lots of room in the wiring trough, very clean install. This should not take long at all. Again, we designed this for the DIYer in mind. So if you're an installer out there, if a DIYer can do it, I'm very confident that you can as well. So key feature and benefit of going with the Sol-Ark. If you're considering battery backup, you want that system to kick in immediately. It's not pleasant when you have to go and reset all of your clocks or risk losing all of your data when your computer reboots, particularly in the, I would say, post-COVID-19 world where we have a strong movement to work remotely. We have a lot of customers that have medical needs. They need medical support devices such as CPAP for sleep apnea, or maybe they have heart monitors. We're doing a lot of work with in-home assisted living now. You have also people working from home and they have data, they have servers. Maybe they're in finance and they live in an area where the grid might be unstable. You cannot afford to have the grid fail or to lose all your data and glitch those types of sensitive electronics. So just to put things into perspective, using our background in defense, we were able to incorporate this switching technology that is 500 times faster than others out there. And so just wanted to put that into perspective. Another difference is if you're looking to cram a whole lot of power in a very little space, this is very important for off-grid, for tiny homes. It's also important for whole home backup, so you don't have to have a massive equipment room for your system. We can do 3 times more power than, for example, a Tesla Powerwall, because we do have the 20,000 watts peak AC surge, and we'll do 9,000 watts AC continuous. That means you'll get 9,000 watts out of the Sol-Ark to power your loads. At the same time, you'll get 3,000 watts to charge your batteries. So just putting things into perspective, 8 Sol-Arks will do what almost, you know, it takes 20 plus Powerwalls to do. So if you're going with batteries, you know, we're not a battery company, but we strongly recommend lithium ferrophosphate if lithium is a consideration because of its longevity. NMC batteries are a little bit less expensive, but again, you get what you pay for because they don't last nearly as long. So the cost of ownership will be significantly less if you average it out across the life of the system. So one last thing, because I know we're limited on time, we have generator capability. We can couple this with the Sol-Ark and then charge batteries directly from a generator. To our knowledge, our competitors, they're getting close, but to our knowledge, if you do have a generator or you're considering a generator, regardless of the size, we're probably one of the only out there that can take care of incorporating that seamlessly inside your whole solar plus storage plus generator backup system. I'm not going to spend time on this chart. We call it our Christmas chart. I think you can tell why. The Sol-Ark comparison chart is on our website, and the purpose of it is to openly publish inverter data. We purchase products from the market, we install them, and we verify the data with the manufacturers. We have been corrected in the past, and we encourage anyone to study this chart and let us know. Naturally, red means areas where we think that things could be improved. In green are areas where things are really good, and white is so-so. And we try to be as objective as possible so that you as the customer can have accurate information about everything that is out there on the market. And naturally, listening to customers, we do our best to improve our product as much as we can, as quickly as we can, to excel in all areas that, based on feedback, have been the most important to installers and customers. So I'm just going to kind of wrap up here, just showing you some sample installs. This is a really large whole home backup system in the Virgin Islands. This customer is actually living off grid, so it's not just backup. They are actually powering their entire life with just 3 Sol-Arks. Again, you can do up to 8 Sol-Arks. And down here, these are the Fortress batteries, which are available through RENVU. And then you can do really small installations. Again, here's a Fortress battery. But if you have even something as tiny as like a really small lead acid battery with 1 Sol-Ark, you can get taken care of for just the basic essentials. So we do have remote cloud monitoring. For some reason, my screen is not doing so well at the moment. So please go to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in Sol-Ark, our company name. We have a tremendous amount of content. It's excellent for training yourself. But again, you don't have to train yourself. Just give us a call, 972-575-8875. Send an email to support@sol-ark.com. We would love to hear from you, learn about your specific situation, and get you going. Okay, if you're an installer out there, we do not require you to get certified with us. However, we do have webinars that will qualify for NABCEP credits. If you would like more information about that, again, please reach out. If you're a DIYer, just check out our YouTube training content and give us a call. We're happy to get you going. So just the key takeaways here, guys. We wanted to make an all-in-one solution that can just do just about everything that the market has asked for. We made it extremely efficient with 93% round trip efficiency. Again, that's not CEC, that is from in and out of batteries. So we lose the least amount of power. We can switch the fastest out of any system that we know of available in the market. We have a HALT-backed standard 10-year warranty with EMP hardening available for security-minded customers. And we're also available, on the SGIP list with some of the other battery partners. Again, in red, we are live and accessible 7 days a week, 972-575-8875, support@sol-ark.com. And thank you very much. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and give it back to the RENVU crew.
Thanks so much, Andy. Well, I hope everyone is able to see my screen. I think we were having a few issues with that earlier, but we're going to move forward here. So the Bleakier carport is something that RENVU is very excited about. The Bleakier does bring a unique solution to residential carports with its simple yet sturdy design, ease of installation, and compatibility with solar equipment. The 2-car carport can support 24 60-cell modules or 18 72-cell modules. Both configurations utilize the Iron Ridge XR100 rails. It also has the option to come with a sealed surface T-gasket in between the modules for a waterproofed carport. Bleakier designed this carport to be easy to install, only requiring a pier depth of 2 feet, and can withstand a 30 pounds per square feet snow load and a 170 mile an hour wind load. The 170 mile an hour wind load is an upgrade kit, but this is available. We do have information available on the Bleakier website to download an engineering letter for wind loading details, and you can read more wind loading information there. We have received a lot of questions about that, and we are working to make that more accessible for you guys. The carport does stand 9 feet tall with a 5-degree tilt angle with a pier-to-pier length of 18 feet on all sides. It does not matter which direction the cars enter from, meaning you can orient the array to the best solar resource available. A decorative mesh is available as an upgrade kit that goes underneath the carport to hide all your MLPE devices and any wiring as well. There is a commercial option that essentially lines up the 2 carports and shares the common column and cascades down the parking spaces. The best part is this all does come as a kit, and it will all fit on an 11-foot pallet, the carport itself. A few options that RENVU is offering right now is the Sol-Ark 12K with the Fortress Power 18.5 kWh E-Volt battery and 24 60 cell 310 watt modules. We are also doing another promotion as well with the same solar panels, same inverter, but with 22.8 kWh of Simplify 48 volt batteries. That's going to be 6 of the 3.8 kWh batteries for a total of 22.8 kWh. If you do want to contact us at info@renvu.com, we can help you dive into these kits a little bit more. Any of these new purchases do come with a free EV charger, the NLX Juice Box 48 car charger. So that is a promotion that is going on right now. We do have a authorized installer program with the Bleakier carport that requires an application and 3 installations. After these steps, if you install 5 of those carports per month, and that's going to be tabulated quarterly, you'll receive $1,000 per carport installed, as well as customer leads from RENVU. So this is a pretty good deal, and we will give you those partner benefits and allow you to see into our leads and push those customers your way. On the RENVU website, we have added the Bleakier carport into the solar kit guide, and this is a quick little walkthrough of how the solar kit guide works. You can select your different number of panels if you want to add wind, which panels are available. These are all going to be the current modules that are available from RENVU at the time. You can go in and edit your electricity bill, change different loads to allow for different battery options if you want. You can also change your racking to include carports if you want, and create your own carport kit. We have extensive inverter options as well, and you can actually go in and calculate your battery bank. And if you don't know how to do that, we can help you do it. So if you want to put in all your appliances, you're more than able to do that, or just go ahead and throw in a critical usage in kWh. You then can go in and choose your battery type if you want a lithium ion battery or a lead acid battery. Now remember, if you have one of those EMP hardened Sol-Arks, make sure you're choosing the lead acid batteries and not the lithium ion for now. And then if you want to have a permitting package as well or a car charger, you can go ahead and select those options. From there, You're going to get a full list of everything that is included in your order, and you can go ahead and actually turn that into a proposal and send that over to a sales engineer at RENVU. So that's the walkthrough of the RENVU solar kit guide, and please note that this is being recorded, and if you do have any questions after the fact, please reach out to us at info@renvu.com for any other questions. I think we're going to get into a Q&A now here. Andy, I'm going to go ahead and read off a few questions here for you, if you're available. First,
yeah, I tried answering in the chat a little bit. I hope I was doing it correctly.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think there was a few that didn't come through the Q&A that were in the chat. So I'm going to start with those. I don't know if you've already answered them. You can let me know if you have. But can you provide production monitoring at the string level for 4 different strings of modules?
It will be a system level. We can see down to the string, but we will not see down to the panel.
Okay. What is the smallest battery bank you suggest to allow solar production during grid failure?
Well, the answer is, like my attorneys tell me, that depends. It depends on what you're looking to power. So if we're sizing the system based on what you're looking to power, we're happy to work through that with you if you just give us a call or send us an email about your specific situation. But if the goal here is to make sure the system does not shut down as per code, because grid-tied systems are required to shut down if the grid fails, then you can get anything that is, you know, it's really, really small. I mean, as small as possible. It just has to be 48 volts. So theoretically, if you have something that is only a few kilowatt hours of storage and it's a 48 volt battery bank, it will serve as a reference point so that the system would not shut down. However, if it's nighttime and then that really, really tiny battery bank were to be fully depleted, well, then you wouldn't have any power. With that said, our systems can do what's called dark start. And for those who are new, dark start means that when batteries are completely depleted down to 0%, our system, whether using the solar panels, which is a DC source of power, or an AC source of power, such as retrofitted microinverters. So if you had an in-phase system and then you added a Sol-Ark and batteries, the system will wake up, in quotes. It will wake itself up and charge the batteries. But just make sure that you do have a battery bank to allow for that switch to happen when the grid goes down. And we do have some customers that already have a generator. So being budget conscious, they get a really small battery bank and then just have that generator on the Sol-Ark, and then the Sol-Ark will tell that generator to turn on based on the specific settings, since there's probably not enough battery for them to have to, you know, power the entire structure.
Great. Can the Sol-Ark inverters be recessed into a wall space?
I mentioned in the chat that you can do this, but just make sure that you have 6 inches on either side of the Sol-Ark for proper ventilation. And that applies as well with parallel stacking. So if you have multiple inverters stacked together, then make sure you have 6 inches. I will say, just to cover everyone's bases, if you're thinking about a special recessed look before you go do that, please send us, even if it's on the back of a napkin, and I literally mean that, we've gotten that, and that's totally fine. Send us an email with what you're thinking about doing, and our solar engineers are available 7 days a week to coach you through that.
Great. Let's see. Do you involve yourselves in any commercial applications? I believe that one is a little straightforward.
We can do 208 volt for small commercial. One Sol-Ark inverter can power 2 of 3 legs. So for example, where I'm presenting today is at one of Sol-Ark's business offices, and it's just, you know, powering our our security system, our computers, the Sol-Ark, and it's a 208 service, just one Sol-Ark. If you want true three-phase, you can do as few as 2 Sol-Arks, but for true proper balancing, then you would have 3 Sol-Arks in parallel for true three-phase.
Great. How does the Sol-Ark connect to my internet, and what access does it provide my computer?
The Sol-Ark has an Ethernet and Wi-Fi dongle that comes with the system, and our solar engineers can help you with programming that so that you have full visibility of the system. The system does not require you to be connected to the internet. So we do have some customers, they're very private, they don't want to be connected, and that's fine. Just know that if you need our assistance, that we would have to have some sort of connectivity to be able to have visibility of what's going on in the system, or if you needed our help to configure or adjust anything, that we would have to regain access to the system somehow.
Great. Another one, can you speak to how the Sol-Ark integrates and operates with generators?
I can speak on a very general level. Is it okay if I share my screen again?
Yeah, let me go ahead and stop mine here for you. All right, all yours.
Okay, just give me a quick second here. I hope everybody can see this is our website here. And I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, you go to click installer. Even if you're not an installer, just go to installer, click resources. And then this resources page, we have a ton of content with all of our certifications, and I call it the alphabet soup of regulatory that's necessary. And then you go down here in the middle, brochures and manuals, we have our 12K install manual. And most importantly, for the quickest answers for those who are pretty familiar with solar system setups, go to system wire diagrams here near the bottom of the page, page 45 to 51. And you will see sample diagrams of how the system is set up. So there are a couple of ways to hook up the generator. I don't know if this is clear enough for everyone because I'm trying to zoom in here a little bit. You can go out of the load output from your critical loads panel. You can also go directly into the gen input. There are a couple ways to do this. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I know we're limited on time today. Our engineers are more than happy to coach you through that. And then this manual we tried very hard. Let me see here to make it as easy as possible to look at a diagram like this and know what to do. So please just go to this here. I'm actually gonna copy this link real quick, and I'm gonna put it in the chat for everybody. And that way, or maybe Daniel, you can just pop it to everybody. But here, let me see if I can. When I'm sharing my screen, it's a little bit tricky. So let's see here. I'm gonna stop sharing actually and go over here to the chat. So I put the link to this manual here in the chat. I'm gonna go back and share my screen again. Thank you everybody for bearing with me there. Appreciate your patience. There we go. So now everybody has access to pages 45 to 51 of our manual. Please go to those pages and study. If what you're looking at looks like absolute, I have no idea what I'm looking at, please give us a call, 972-575-8875, press 2. And any of our engineers are happy to talk that through with you. But the very simple version is we can work with any generator, whether it's the small portable kind or a standby generator. It just has to be 2 or 4 wire start and 240 volts.
Great. A few Bleakier questions here. One is it possible to do a hybrid with the solar carport and rooftop solar to meet target generation capacity? Yes, this is possible. You could, since 24 modules on a carport is not going to max out that Sol-Ark inverter. You can also couple in some some rooftop modules onto there. So the Bleakier carport can be an accessory into a much larger solar installation as well. There's also another question about Bleakier, and can it be adjusted to a 40 pounds per square feet snow load? This is something that is possible. If you could contact us at info@renvu.com for this application, we'd be willing to work with you, and would love to help you out there.
I did see a couple of questions here, Daniel. DC Long asks other voltages for three-phase, 230 volt, three-phase, 50 hertz. We can do 230 volt, 50 hertz. We're doing that in the UK and in parts of Europe. We have a lot of DIYers in that region. It's not three-phase though. It's single phase, but we can do 230, 50 hertz. Just give us a quick call when you decide to move forward. You can program this on your own, but we're happy to pre-program it. Just give us a heads up. Let's see here. Xavier, I hope I said your name correctly. Xavier Gordon asks, can the Sol-Ark integrate with the Lumen Energy Management Platform? Yes, it can. Mark asked, the startup voltage for the inverter is 175 volts DC. Is there a way to lower it? You need 175 volts DC on open circuit voltage to start the system. It will continue to function down to 150. But to get that startup, you need 175. And we designed the system higher voltage this way because it's much easier to install the panels in series than to get a bunch of jumpers and do things in parallel. Okay. Ray asks, I meant when the grid is down, will the system allow both the home to be powered, the solar panels at the same time allows? Yes, you can do that, Ray. Do we have an optimizer to go with our solution? Okay, so Solar Edge, SMA, other groups, they have their own optimizers. So if you want to continue using their system, then you would AC couple your system, your existing system to the Sol-Ark. If you're starting from scratch, meaning from zero, new install, then we have heard of installers using the Tigo with the CCA, the Cloud Connect box to do that. So we do know in certain situations that optimization is necessary. So Tigo has the TS4A-O, again, TS4A-O, O as an Oscar for optimizers.
I'm gonna jump in here
okay.
on one question here. CJ, I see you are looking, who can we speak regarding designing Sol-Ark systems in Arizona with APS utility areas, especially in Phoenix, their authority having jurisdiction. CJ, I have extensive knowledge in the APS utility rates and their interconnect application process and their system designs. If you want to reach out to info@renvu.com, I can definitely help you with APS. All right, let's see. Andy, that you see that are ones that you're looking to answer at this time?
I'm actually I'm going through the little chat thing, but I didn't see any more questions, but I hope I didn't miss any. So 3-phase is 12208, I presume. Yes, that is correct. So there was a question from Olaf Lohr, is the rapid shutdown built in and you don't need an additional rapid shutdown controller or just the Tigo on the modules? Okay, so I can show you, there is an answer to this in our manual. So let me share real quick. All right. Oop. Got a little sideways there. Okay. Rapid shutdown diagrams, pages 22 and 23. So the system does have a certain amount of rapid shutdown built in, like if you hit the button or whatever, but as per code, if you're 2017 or 2020, then you would just do this is using Tigo TS4A-F as a placeholder example. You can use the AP Systems AP Smart. And you would just, hook up right here, and then those wires would come into the Sol-Ark in this section here near where it says Modbus in parallel. You just literally just plug those in right there. So pages 22 to 23. And again, if you have questions on this, we're happy to answer them offline.
I see another question, a simple one about the federal tax credit. The federal tax credit will remain at 26% through 2022, and in 2023, that will drop down to 22%, and then it'll sit at a permanent 10% credit beginning in 2024, well, the commercial and utility markets will sit at 10% in 2024. The residential market will drop off to 0%. But for now, the 26% is around through 2022 as of right now. Let's see. Here's a question from Drew. I have a SolarEdge with optimizers. Can I AC couple with Sol-Ark and still use both while the grid is down? Will the Sol-Ark appear as a grid to the SolarEdge?
Excuse me. I was sipping my coffee there. Yes. So the way you would set that up, again, we would need to ask a couple of more exploratory questions, but the very basic answer is yes. You would take what you have. So you have your SolarEdge system. It could be an HD Wave with optimizers. If it's up to 9.6 kilowatts of solar on that inverter and optimizer setup, you would just take it right into the Sol-Ark, either into the gen input, that 50 amp breaker, or you would go into the backup loads panel through the load out of the load out breaker. Again, if this is already getting pretty technical, our engineers are helpful. They'll coach you through that, but we have thousands of retrofits already out in the field. So the question about will the Sol-Ark be a reference point, I think was it, or to the grid tied SolarEdge, it's set up so that a SolarEdge HD Wave inverter, if it's a grid tied inverter, it's just going to shut down. But that's nothing in SolarEdge. All grid tied inverters have to do that. SMA or any Enphase microinverters, because that's code. What the Sol-Ark does is allows you to have off grid functionality from that AC source, which is coming out of the SolarEdge, and I hope that clarifies. Greg Callio asks, regarding the charge controller in the Sol-Ark inverter. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't a problem on mine. Regarding the charge controller in the Sol-Ark inverter, what is the maximum voltage of a connected module string? The Sol-Ark inverter can take up to 500 volts DC open circuit voltage into the charge controllers. So for those who are new, look at your panel data sheet, find open circuit voltage, VOC. Then you would just add up the number of panels of that VOC. So let's say, for example, it's 50 volts, totally using a placeholder number to make things easy. 50 volts, you have 8 panels, 8 times 50 is 400, and you would be under the 500 volt limit. Do not, I say again, do not exceed that 500 volt limit. You may incur damage to the system that would void the warranty. So do not exceed 500 volts. If you're in a climate with cold, just cold weather, placeholder example, if you're in Canada or Minnesota in the US, pay attention to that open circuit voltage number. It's not meant to scare you, but when the temperature drops, voltage will go up. So we do suggest sometimes keeping that number, a little bit lower. So we've seen, 385 to 400 volts because, they're factoring the fact that if the temperature decreases quite a bit in the wintertime, that they're not going to inadvertently exceed that 500 volt voltage limit out of the panel string.
Great. Well, I think that's all of the questions for now. If we did not get to your question, we will be able to take questions via email. You can email Andy at Sol-Ark, and you can also email info@renvu.com. This is also being recorded and will be available for download. We will send that out to you after. Thanks, Andy, for going over your product with us. It's a very, very nifty inverter. I really like it. And it's
Thank you
always
for
great
having
to have
us.
you. Yeah, no problem.
We really appreciate it. And again, anybody want to reach out, my email direct, Andy, my first name, Andy at sol-ark.com. Sometimes my inbox, I just have to admit, gets a little bit full sometimes. So you will get the fastest answers from support, SUPPORT, at sol-ark.com, or give us a call, 972-575-8875. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, everyone.